So hello folks and welcome to the Debrief, where we answer your questions regarding our participation in the 2019 Roma Urbs Mundi, the 15K run. But before diving into the questions, here's a small sneak peek into the entire event. So it was basically a 15K run which on the 20th of October, which started at 8:30 in the morning. And the course was pretty good. So we started at Terme di Caracalla, then came across Piazza Venezia, finally went to the Spanish Steps, then towards the Colosseo, and finally ended up at Terme di Caracalla. So having said that, the first question: how do you prepare yourself for such an event? So usually this is my third event. The first was last December, 10K. Then we had the Roma Run, which was 13K, and this was 15K. So for me, this time I can say I wasn't adequately prepared compared to the other two events because we just returned back from Cambodia and then I was a bit tired, so we just had around less than a month. And so usually we basically focus on two kind of practice sessions. So sometimes we focus on long distance running, wherein we try to maintain the stamina and the energy over a longer period of time, and sometimes it's basically the short distance. That means we basically focus on getting maximum time and trying to get the quickest time. So this time basically the focus was more on the long distance because we didn't get the opportunity to basically put in good enough laps before the event. So that was basically that. But more importantly, I guess it's important to keep everything going smoothly, like as they say, keep the machinery oiled. So I guess so basically it was just regular practice, getting into the rhythm, and of course taking care of your health and making sure that you are fit before the event without any major injuries or so. So that was basically the preparation when it came to. So normally I would run around 6.4 kilometers around 5 times a week, and so basically, but we had a delta time. So I had a particular delta which I used to stick to, and that was a kind of a benchmark for me, that I knew every day I had to sort of aim at a particular time, and that's how I prepared for the event. The next question is quite similar. So what do you do 24 hours before the event? So 24 hours before the event. So basically again, a day before the event, I normally would not go for a run because you want to keep your energy levels high. But what I basically do is go to the gym, just do a bit of stretching out, loosening exercises, and so basically the focus for me is to be in a good mood, to be in a good frame of mind. So listening to music, or basically avoiding encounters which you would not like, or which would basically put you off, and doing stuff that you like. So basically for me, like playing a bit of Clash of Clans or watching something, maybe a good movie or something, just to keep the spirit high, because for me it's very important to be in that happy state of mind before such events, and because I've realized that does give me an additional boost during the race. So for me that was the important thing. And also when it comes to breakfast, I usually prefer not to have breakfast that day, because the event was at 8:30, so I got up at around 6:30 because I didn't want to get up too early, because then I would feel a bit tired for the run. So I got up at 6:30, and then this was listening to music and getting myself mentally prepared for the event. Okay, which comes to the next question: what mental preparations do you go through? So mental preparations first and foremost, I would like to admit that I usually don't take a look at the course of the event. So I don't usually take a look at the track or which places are we going to be running on, because I like to have that as an element of surprise during the event. And it's not that you're right in front leading the way. No, I mean you're usually following the pack. So yeah, so I don't focus on that. But I think for me the mental preparation is basically with regards to strategy, as to how do I take the first stint, the middle stint, and basically the final kilometer. So a few preparations in mind as to how to approach these three stages. And yeah, so basically it's that, so a bit of a plan as to how I would approach the start, and then maybe what do I do if I get tired, or you have plan A, plan B, plan C, and different modes how to get the body back onto track. So yeah, that's it. Do you have a strategy during the race? Well, for me basically the strategy is to go take the start a bit easy, because it's 15k. So basically in the start it's very easy to sort of get tempted away, and try to, like, you have a lot of energy, so it's very tempting to go at full speed right in the beginning. But I think the start is very important, because normally for the first 2 kilometers the field is quite bunched up together, and so basically what happens is you have to basically cut through the field with precision. So again, I use the word precision because you need to maintain a particular speed. Now for example, for me, I had a delta of 5.5 minutes for the first 2 kilometers, and then the target was 5 minutes per kilometer. And so yeah, so for the first 2 kilometers, once I realized that I was within the delta, I was very happy. But the thing is, our data on the app that we were using, it was showing us in miles. So when I realized that I finished the first mile in around 9 minutes or so, I was like, okay, we are within range, because we had done the calculations and the conversions earlier. So yeah, I was prepared for that. And yeah, and then for me also the most enjoyable part of the race is cutting through the field, because yeah, I really enjoy that. And so that was good. The middle stint was very important, because you tend to lose energy, and at the same time you have to maintain your speed, and so it was like very interesting to see that important phase of the race. So the first mile was 9 minutes 22 seconds. So the first mile was 9 minutes 22 seconds, which actually was the slowest, and rightly so, the start, so you have to conserve. Second was 8 minutes 26 seconds and 8 minutes 2 seconds. Then the fourth one again 8 minute 2, fifth one 8 minute 3, sixth one was fastest 7:57, then the seventh one was 8, then the 8th mile was 8:10, and 9th again 7:40. So basically, I was trying to keep within the delta, and so the total time that we took for the 15 kilometers was around 1 hour 15 minutes, which actually translates to around 5 minutes per kilometer. So, and with an average pace of around average speed of around 7.4 miles per hour. So that was pretty good. And well, during the entire event, the elevation gain was around 465 feet and elevation loss 477 feet. So yeah, so that was the step-by-step breakup. Yeah, so basically coming back to the question about strategy. So yeah, as I said, the middle stint, which was very important for me, because I had to sort of conserve energy. At the same time, you have to push. So I think managing the delta during that time was very important for me. And once I realized that we were negative on the delta, it was pretty easy to then keep pushing. And basically, I realized, I think after the 12th kilometer, there was like complete loss of power, and yeah, it was like really difficult to get going because I was out of energy. And so luckily there was somebody with whom I could basically run with, because normally I usually sort of pick up one person or the other who has a similar pace that I'm running, and we basically run together. But this time that didn't happen because I could not find anybody who was around my pace, so it was a bit of a lonely race for most of the race, exception for the 12th kilometer, as I mentioned, because there was this guy with me, so I was able to keep up with him, and that was the target basically. And once I saw 14 kilometers, I knew the last kilometer. So I mean, suddenly there's a lot of boost that comes in when you realize that you're almost reaching the end, and yeah, then you turn up the mode to 11 and give it all you have. So yeah, so that was the final kilometer, which was again the quickest as always. So yeah, so that was it when it comes to strategy. But again, I said it's very important to know when to accelerate and when to conserve the energy, because and ultimately it depends on each one, how how you prepare for the race and how you basically plan it out. And because your strength, so how quickly you can recover and how quickly you can basically cover the distance. So yeah, that's it. The last question which for this episode is, why is the timing screen, okay, that's the official time, and the time we posted different? So our data basically showed that we finished the race in 1 hour 15 minutes 22 seconds, whereas the official timing shows 1 hour 17 minutes. Now the main reason for this difference is on the event chart you will see there's something called as the real event time, and there's the real time. So the event time basically is the watch starts when the event itself starts. So the event started at 8:30, but all of us don't run at the same time. So first you have the competitive category which runs, then there's after around 45 seconds you have the next category which goes, and then finally the non-competitive category would go. So there were basically 4 categories over there, so we were in the 3rd category. So we almost left after 2 minutes, so that actually makes up the time. So the event time is, the clock starts at 8:30, whereas for the real time the clock started at around 8:32 or 8:32 and some seconds. So that explains the difference in timing, but the overall experience I guess was pretty good. We improved on our time. So last time I guess it was around 5.10, 5.10, that's 5 minutes 10 seconds per kilometer. This time it was under 5. So our data shows that it was exactly 5 minutes per kilometer, whereas the event data does show at 4.97 minutes per kilometer, 4.57 minutes per kilometer. So again, that's a bit of an improvement. And yeah, we look forward to the next event, that's on the 31st of December 2019. That is the We Run Roma event. Thank you and see you then.